in Tamarine in Mauritius. He has a degree in history. Check it out. Okay, you're going to see he has an MBA from Cranfield. But I'm talking about his first degree, history. Does the first degree make you a specialist? Nonsense. What your lecturer should be doing is to, of course, get you to research, underpin theory, to understand certain things, and inspire you for lifelong learning. You should be should be enrolled at the University of Life for Life. I have said to you, I have taught law all of my life. I came to Mauritius and I think, bloody hell, the law that I've been teaching is in London. But then I said to myself, if I can understand the validity of an act done by a company shall not be called into question on the grounds of lack of capacity by reason of anything contained or not contained in the company constitution under section 39 of the Companies Act 2006 in the United Kingdom, if I can read that and understand that, why the hell can I not read and research on management, organization behavior, leadership culture? What? It's easier. It is easier. Think about it. That's what I said to myself. An old fart like me simply decides to hang on a minute. I can read all these statutes and understand it. Where directors or shadow directors knew or ought to have known that a company would not avoid insolvent liquidation and do not take every step which ought to be taken to minimize loss. In liquidation, they become personally liable. Section 214 of the Insolvency Act 1986. Now, if I can read that and understand that, why can I not look at other things? I don't need a certificate for that. I am at the University of Life for Life. Simple as that. So this notion that you have a certificate which needs to change, that will get you in, it will not keep you in. You need to add value. You need to keep learning. If you don't, then say, I've got a degree. Ah, well, that's 50 years ago, mate. It doesn't do anything now. I'm Philippe Coutinho, 142 million pounds. You're not doing much now. Your value has been halved in 2 years. He should be at the peak of his career. Liverpool wrote a clause in there. If he ever becomes a Ballon d'Or winner, we get an extra 15 million pounds. It looked good. It looked possibly at that time when they sold it. You've got a better chance of being incarnated as a pineapple than him winning the Ballon d'Or now. It's not going to happen. You need to perform. This notion, I have a PhD, I have a master's. But what are you doing for my bottom line? What are you doing there? You've got to keep learning. You have to adapt. The word for that is dynamic, dynamism, agility, adapting. You can become like water. You are poured into this bottle and you take the shape of the bottle. You are poured into a cup, it takes the shape of a cup. You're poured into a pot, it takes the shape of a pot. Adaptability. Degrees do not make you a specialist in anything. I have to remind people that doctors do not have a master's degree. They've got a first degree. What makes them become a doctor is because they have the practicals alongside them. So in theory, 3 years after you are working in a relevant area to your degree, you should be able to call yourself a doctor. Because the practicals, you see, they don't do masters. Some of them do masters, but when a doctor finishes, he's just done a first degree. That's why when you go to a doctor, I know you guys believe doctors are God. They're not. I got plenty of them in my family. When you are telling them the symptoms, look at what they're doing. People behind the screen, they're checking Google. I kid you not. All around the world, I'm having a go at Mauritians. I'm telling you, even you go to the GPs in the United Kingdom, they say, what are the symptoms? Well, I got a headache. Yeah, my toenail is hurting. My ears, something is saying. Is it a stabbing pain? Is it a gnawing pain? If you peep, if somebody calls him, I'll have a peep around and see what he's doing. He's gone into Google. And then they prescribe something that's a scattergun approach that cures every illness. They give you about 5 antibiotics that cures everything under the sun. It's like if you want to kill, say I'm a terrorist and you bomb the whole bloody place, you're going to kill me, but you're going to kill another 150 young people. Doesn't seem to be right, is it? You're not a specialist in anything. So this notion that I have a degree in HRM, I want to work in HRM, that's not the right attitude. That's the attitude of a prima donna. I know my area in that. You might be surprised to see somebody who doesn't have a degree there, knows better than you. And you may have to deal with people like me, who does not necessarily look at the degree. I look for the attitude. On my left, you have a young lady who has a degree in Indian philosophy. And she has a first-class honours degree in Indian philosophy. And initially I had resistance to employing her. But I saw the CV. It was well put together. You know, they say successful people know what they're good at. Successful leaders know what other people are good at. There's a difference. Successful people know what they're good at. Successful leaders know what other people are good at. I looked at it and I thought, hang on, let her come to the interview. Today she heads our finance department with a degree in Indian philosophy. And does a very good job at it as well. Of course they need to be trained. Of course. But when you're looking at somebody that has a first-class degree, it tells me about discipline. It tells me that they can keep deadlines, they can meet deadlines, they are meticulous, they are parochial. Finance, you need that. Nitpick, don't like to make mistakes. Finance is like that. I mean, if I put you in a marketing department, that's another skill set. You can make mistakes sometimes, of course. Finance mistakes could be a problem. I see something like that, I'm thinking, nah. He or she believes that they have become experts in that area when they've just done 3 years of study, for God's sake. The stuff that you're doing at HRM are dead and buried. You're looking at Frederick Taylor and whoever else, the father of scientific management. Nobody's studying the Chinese now. You might hear about Hamel and Prahalad, yes. But all that stuff is gone. It's different. McGregor tells you about theory X and theory Y. Bellucci, a Japanese, says there's theory Z. But you are just learning theories that existed about 40, 50 years ago. The world has bloody changed. The world has changed completely. Unfortunately, the older generation are not recognizing this. About 2 weeks ago, I'm going into my office. I'm downstairs, we are on the 8th floor. And I had a lady from the ministry. It was 9:40. And she says, Mr. Khan, like me, you're late. And she asked this as a question. So I scratched my head and says, I'm not sure I know how to answer that question. Are you being late at my desk? Or late for work? She gone quiet. I says, my dear, I have a phone that connects to my workplace. I've been answering emails since 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm answering responses from Calidus University in Switzerland. You mean I'm late in my space at work, but not generally late? At my desk? This is a problem, you see. This is a problem. Some people may get into work at 8 o'clock and I don't know what the hell they're doing. Maybe drinking coffee, maybe watching pornography, I don't know. I haven't got a flipping clue what you're doing. Whereas other people, you can check that they're working. They're answering the mails, they're starting doing their presentations, etc. Adaptability. When you employ millennials at the end of the day, flexibility, dynamism is important. If you're going to come from Chemin-Grenier, so that's, I said that right, didn't I? Why are you laughing? I didn't pronounce it right. Mauritius has a funny place, you know. I think when you were naming your villages or towns here, I think you ran out of names. I couldn't imagine, say, in England, somebody says, where do you live? I said, grapefruit. What? Pamplemousse. Somebody's going to think I'm a flipping lunatic. You know? Where do you live? 4 wood. Carbon. Or carbon, 4 wood, eh? 4 wood. I like bois chéri, green darling. And then you get Sunnak on one side of the road and Kondus. They turn the bloody thing inside out. Sunnak is Kondus with the other way around. So what the hell is going on here? It's a funny place when it comes to names, you know. Clean the pipe. I live in Clean the Pipe, cure people. What bloody hell you name a place Clean the Pipe? What pipe are you talking about here? The one you smoke? Put a bit of hashish in it. So imagine you live in Chemin-Grenier And Chemin Grenier might take you 2 hours to get there, from there to come and then go back. I'd rather you take 4 hours, if you like, and work. Take your phone, take your laptop, take whatever the hell you want, and work. You can connect to your workplace, you can be on a bloody beach if you want, you can be on a real medal. I don't care. Results. The end that justifies the means. I don't know, but if you don't do the work, then I'm going to kick your ass so hard, your ass and your head will be at the same place. But I don't care where you do it. This is adaptability, flexibility. You can be working at 10 o'clock in the night, 12 o'clock, I don't care. I don't need to see you at your desk, but when I want the information, or when I want to find out whether the work is done or not, don't give me no gobbledygook. All right? This is adaptability and flexibility. This notion that you have to work, people refuse flexible hours work. They say, no, I need to be home at 6:30. Papa's going to have a problem. Well, there's a way around these things. And so the point I'm making, the opening statements need to be to show you're flexible. You're dynamic. You're hitting hard with the first or second punch, as it were. All right? Don't simply say, I want to follow a career in human resource. Why? Because you have a degree in human resource. Immediately it comes across to me as being arrogant. So that's the only thing you can do. I see. All right. Show the right attitude. A dynamic young graduate looking for suitable employment within your organization, or any employment within your organization. Now that will hit me, you see, straight away. Here is the right attitude. I'm willing to do anything. And for that you need to change a little bit. You see, Mauritius, when we talk about leaders, they're not leaders. They have the traditional type of leadership. The one that is right at the top and everything is done for that person. There are a few Christians in here. And if you quote from the Bible, Jesus says, verily, it is better that I with knowledge serve rather than the other way around. He washes the feet of his disciples. We call this servant leadership. I repeat, he washes the feet of his disciples. I'm not trying to convert anybody here or anything. Indeed, I'm not a Christian. But I'm just telling you, going back in the days of old, servant leadership is now propagated. There is a Taoist model of leadership where the leader is invisible. You can't see him. He pushes from behind. I'm telling you in the opening statements of your CV to come across as a servant, somebody that likes to serve. You are adaptable. If Jesus Christ can simply say, verily, it is better that I, with knowledge, serve, well, who the hell are you not to serve? These are the things that strike me first of all. Young, dynamic graduate looking for any job which may exist in your organization. What's the point? You take what you get, you wait for what you want. In the early 1980s, a young man in England misread his timetable. His lecture was supposed to be in the afternoon. He turned up in the morning. The lecture in the afternoon starts at 2 p.m. He turned up at 9 a.m. for the lecture. Every room in the building is taken, he can't study. It's a February morning. It's bitterly cold. It's the coldest month, like February is the hottest month there. It's bitterly cold. He hasn't got money to go back home. Students don't travel free. So he stays and he sits in the lobby of the reception. Sits there. He sits there at 9 o'clock and he has to wait until 2. That's 5 hours. The director of the institution says, what are you doing here? He says, I've misread my timetable. I can't go back home now, it's too bloody cold out there. And so I'll sit here until 2 o'clock because there are no rooms where I can get the study for free. You know, my free time, I can't, so I'll sit here. He says, well, you got 5 hours. I said, yes, I've got 5 hours. Can you come and help me with my accounts? Calculate my VAT, my input and output tax. You know what the hell it is? So the individual simply says, let's have a go. And he sorts it out. In the process, he got paid a pittance. And then he started making tea. And then, of course, students who knew him because he was also studying there started asking him questions, and he was able to explain. Somebody's asking about overriding interests under Section 70, subsection 1, paragraph G of the Land Registration Act 1925, and he starts explaining. And he starts exerting influence. And that's the definition of leadership. That was in 1986. By 1993, that individual that misread his timetable and who couldn't afford to go back home the extra fare owned the institution. 7 years later, he owned it. The individual I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is me. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need a title to influence. You don't. Tiger Woods once says, the more I practice, Tiger Woods is a golfer, the luckier I become. There is nothing like luck. You make your luck. It's your attitude that determines your altitude, not your certificates. You need certificates, please. I'm not saying you don't. But you will be found out if you go beyond the boundaries of this country and try and work anywhere else, like Philippe Coutinho. If you do not perform out and word gets around, you're not going to be employed. That's how it works. Bob Diamond used to be the CEO of Barclays Bank. 1 year he earned £34 million. He was called the unacceptable face of banking by our meaning UK. I've lived in UK for 40 years. Peter Mandelson describes him as the unacceptable face of banking. He earned £34 million 1 year. Because he happened to find himself there. The other people were working hard amongst him. He got fired. He then set up an investment bank called Atlas Mara. Of course, other people invest. He got sacked from his own bank. If you're not performing, you're not going to live on your past records. You need to keep adding value now, all the time. And that's about adaptability. That's the duty of your lecturers, inspiring you for lifelong learning. It's not the end, it's just the beginning. When you graduate, please don't think it's the end. It's not, it's just the beginning. So, in your opening remarks, try and be a bit different. I'm looking for any job. Maybe highlight any. It shows the attitude. Put any in capital letters, but only if you believe that. Because if someone says, will you be the attendant? Yes, I will. Because you know what will happen after a while? You might end up owning the institution like I did. I started making coffee, I started doing the accounts, I started lecturing. I could do anything and everything. And after a while, 7 years after I joined, they made me a director. And 2 years after, in 1986, 5 years after I was formally appointed as a director. By then I'd finished my studies. Formally, 5 years, I had no title. None whatsoever. And then within 2 years of me becoming a director, then I became the managing director. And owned the company, which I still do to this day. And by the way, I've taught prime ministers, I've taught the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. If you Google him, you will see. The college I'm talking about is City Banking College in London. And you will see he studied at City Banking College. African Businesswoman of the Year, Miss Singa Mello, I've also taught. Many of your captains of industry here. But it's adaptability. Mean it, you will do anything. Any job. Young, dynamic graduate, looking for any job within your organization. You have every belief in yourself. This notion that you're going to ask me, is it a permanent job? The moment I hear something like that, I start getting pissed off. Why do you want to ask me that before you even come in? I'm going to make me permanent. That's the whole point about this. You're looking people in the eye and not blinking. You will make me permanent, won't you? Sit back, relax, and see what happens. I am not a prima donna. I'm not a painting that you stuck in a wall and you look at me all the time. No, 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 no. Within a few weeks or months, you will soon realize you will not want to get rid of me. You won't. I don't have a problem. Say something that you've never seen before. Something different. It's like when you're marking. When we sit down at exam board meetings, the lecturers, what do I hear all the time? I don't see any argument, Mr. Khan, in the assignments. We don't see anybody challenging these theories. Nothing happens. It's the same old thing. Nobody challenges it. It's boring. Say something like, young dynamic graduate, seeking employment, any employment which may exist in your organization, and willing to work for free unless you're satisfied with me. Now, how many times have you seen that? How many times have you seen that? I have been woken up sometimes where universities are ringing me and says, Mr. Khan, can you come and do a lecture for us? I don't know what the hell I'm saying. If you wake me up in the middle of the night, I don't know what the hell is what I'm saying. People have run me at all funny times. And then by the time the interview finishes, I realize that, oh, hang on a minute, I can't go and do that. And I simply then say to them, listen, I don't know what I said 10 minutes ago. All right, I'm being very honest here. I haven't got a clue what I was saying. But if your students are not happy with me, you don't pay me. Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. You want me to do a few lectures on transactions at an undervalue or preference under the Insolvency Act? Fair enough. If they are not happy, no pay. I'll sign. No payment. Now, how many times would an employer have seen something like that? This is an individual that is confident, but also very probably knows his competence. Very competent, like the girls. They might not be confident, but very competent in their jobs. They might not interview well, but you can write it down. The boys will give it a lot. Get into the job and can't deliver. The girls, on the other hand, are shy. You look at them, they look down. They can't string a sentence together. Put them in the bloody job and man them to extremely well. They're extremely competent. I'm trying to say, think of something different. Communicate your value. I don't know how you communicate your value if you're writing in plain language all the time. I don't know. I've seen this 1,015 times before. I want to see something that's entirely different. Then I'll be thinking, all right, this one here, I need to have a look at this one. I'm looking forward to interviewing this person. That's the key to this. So in your opening statements, when you're hitting hard first, okay, young, dynamic, fresh graduate, seeking employment, any employment which may exist within your organization, you carry on with a few chit-chat. I'm able to work in a congruent manner, meaning pulling in the same direction. A lot of people use this word team building, teamwork, teamwork. Well, I see that too much now. It's become vulgarized. Say something a bit different. I'm goal-oriented. I achieve my tasks without trying to blame anyone. Zero tolerance on failure. If we do not produce on time, I accept the blame. I'm able to work in a congruent manner. And somewhere at the end of it, you may want to say, if not happy, no payment. Now think about it here. If you're me reading that, with this old man reading that, what exactly, how does that come across to you? I'll be thinking, wow, let me have a go at this one. But mean it, eh? Mean what you're saying. Be confident in thy own ability. No value for me? No money you need to pay. I didn't add value? Don't pay. We shake hands. I look elsewhere again. No problem. Now I ask you, reading a CV like that, wouldn't you be scratching your head and thinking, oh crikey, I think I want to see this one? Wouldn't you? Yeah? Isn't it different than reading the innocuous? Innocuous mean harmless. Harmless words which probably go in and out. Doesn't leave a mark. There's nothing different. It's like eating bread every day. Jipen, jipen, jipen. Yeah, that's what the boys do. That's why they have many girlfriends. Jipen, jipen, jipen. Jirisek, jirisek, jirisek. Yes, you need a bit of spice in it, isn't it? Yes, you need something different. The world moves like that. 100 years ago, if you checked about aspirin, it will say used to cure the symptoms. You can't cure influenza. There's no cure for influenza. Used to cure the symptoms of influenza, headache, fever. The symptoms. There's a difference between a problem and a symptom. 100 years ago. Today, your fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers probably take aspirin even though they don't have influenza, the symptoms. Because it's been discovered to thin your blood to reduce the incidence of stroke and heart disease. Somebody has looked at it differently. 100 years ago, aspirin was doing that. Somebody says, hang on a minute. People that are taking aspirin regularly are living longer, or if they're dying, they're not dying by heart disease. There's something different. Viagra. You know what Viagra is? What color is it? Mochi mochi. Viagra used to be used to cure people with low blood pressure. I'm not kidding you. And then when they prescribe it, people are going back to the doctor and saying, Doc, my hair is standing up on my head. It's as if I've had an electric shock. I put my hand in, it gets stuck in the man's throat and he gets a stiff neck. And you all know what Viagra is used for today, isn't it? Somebody is looking at it differently. Yes? Someone looking at it differently. This is a responsibility, of course, of your lecturers to get you to think and not regurgitate and recognize. You know, I went to a anti-money laundering CFT seminar with all the FIUs 2 weeks ago at the Intercontinental Hotel. 162 countries there. And they put me to sit right next to a very pretty Moldovan lady. And me being me, of course. I don't know how I ended up there. But I said to her, you've been with these FIUs, Financial Intelligence Unit, for how many years? She says, about 15, 20 years. I said, are the figures going up or not coming down? She said, they're going up. All right. Anytime, any year where the figures that are being laundered are going down? She said, no. I said, well, what the bloody hell are you doing then? Despite the fact that you have all these procedures in place to stop money laundering, it's not working. It's going up all the time. If somebody says come down, it's working. It's going up all the time. So it's not working. You're solving the symptom and not a problem. So she says, yes. So she says, well, what would you do? I say, well, if you put me in your job, I'll tell you what to do. But one of the things you can start with is to legalize narcotics. Be bold, be audacious. I tend to say to the lecturers, bold, audacious can be rude, can be bold. Go out on a limb, have a personality. How can you legalize alcohol and not legalize marijuana? I have never smoked marijuana, so don't think that I have a go, but I might have a go one of these days. How about you? You've had a few, haven't you? If I were you, I certainly wouldn't. Yeah, I was good. You do like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton says he tried it but he never inhaled. Why not? It's a very, in Mauritius, the largest item, predicate offense, criminal offense, that gives rise to money laundering is drugs. Narcotics. Why not legalize some of them? How can you legalize tobacco when there's a known link between tobacco and cancer and stroke and heart disease? there's a known link between alcohol and cirrhosis of the liver. And you know as well as I do, if you drink and you get caught on the road now with just a little bit, you've had it. There's a zero tolerance. But you legalize that and you make narcotics illegal. What is the sense? Why not tax it? Build some more universities. Make this lecture theatre a bit bigger so these girls wouldn't have to stand up. You see, that's where you're thinking now. You're not simply saying, it's the law. That's where you're thinking. We have a situation here where the figures are going up all the time. They're not coming down, so you're not solving the problem, you're solving the symptom. Demonstrate to people that you have an ability to think, not just simply recognize, which is what happens a lot. People follow processes all the time. You can do something differently. You know, I had a franchise with the University of Ulster. The University of Ulster is in Northern Ireland. It's a part of the United Kingdom. But you have to fly from London to Ulster. It's a 45-minute flight. Your ex-Prime Minister studied in Ireland. Dr. Ambulam studied in Ireland. All right, it's still United Kingdom. I had a franchise in London where we used to do their courses, and I used to fly in to Northern Ireland and fly back out. It's a short flight. And I used to work out a critical path analysis to get back into London. I used to park my car at City Airport, and to get home I live in Enfield, not Anfield. Anfield is Liverpool. Enfield is in Middlesex, which is on the outskirts of London. Because I had a young daughter that would not go to sleep until I came home. And so I used to plan my flights in the morning, get there, and then come back. And before the flight takes off, you know, we're in a 737 aircraft, a flight attendant used to be counting the passengers. And she would have something you're pressing before the flight takes off. And it takes some time. And if it's getting a little bit late, I'm getting agitated. You know, because I know what's going to happen. Zara's not going to go to sleep. She's quite happy now, waiting for me, fine. One day after seeing this several times, I touched the flight attendant on her shoulder. I said, how many seats this aircraft has got? She says 150. I says, why are you not counting the empty seats then? Why are you counting everybody that's there? The plane is nearly full. Yeah, it's only about 4 seats that are empty, but she still insists on counting the people that are present. I asked Veer earlier on, I mean, how many seats does this thing got? He says about 150. I mean, there are many people standing and sitting all over the place. But imagine there was no one standing or sitting here and you had 3 seats vacant. Am I still going to count up to 147? If there are 3 seats vacant, it tells me that if I take away 3 from 150, I have 147. It's just thinking differently. You're asking why? Employers like that as well. Well, they ought to. The processes are archaic, old. Why have you got to have hard copies? Why not have soft copies? Okay? Think different, that's Apple. Think different. The world exists on risk assessment. Without no risk, you have no business. You manage risk at the end of the day. You come up with a new process, look at the risk. And if it's negligible and worth taking, go for it. It's called empowerment. I say to my staff, it is better you apologize, you ask forgiveness, than ask permission. You keep asking me permission, I'm going to think you're a dog. You haven't got a brain. Do a risk assessment in that. Once again, communicating your value. Somebody that can think. I am a critical thinker. All right? I work out critical path analysis. The most efficient way to do things, bearing in mind risk, of course. Now, this is what employers want to hear. That's communicating your value. That's value now. It's not just communicating who you are, which is what most CVs do. Something has to come and bash me in the face. Here is a person with a great attitude, behavior, for culture. I said culture is how people will behave. Charlie Handy calls it the way we do things here. We want to look at the attitude. I want that to come out and hit me. I want to see somebody that's prepared to do anything. I want to see someone who's willing to accept any job, as I said. I wanted to see someone that can think. Someone that's prepared to challenge norms. Because it's been like that in the past, you shouldn't change it. Nah. It ain't broke, don't fix it. Nah. But you're aware of risk. So these are the things I'm looking for in this opening sentence. A critical thinker. Someone prepared to work out a critical path analysis. The quickest and best way to do something, factoring in risk. I want to see that. Someone that's prepared to work, that's confident and competent. Someone that tells me, Mr. Khan, you're not happy with me, you don't have to pay me. Really? There you go. But by the same token, Mr. Khan, if I am performing better than the others, then I should be rewarded more. Lionel Messi does not get the same pay as the defenders and the other forwards. Sadio Mane will probably get more money than Fabinho. Paul Pogba will get more money than Scott McTominay. You don't treat us all like sheep, eh? If I'm adding more value, then recognize that. That's another thing which leaders, that's not for you, but the leaders need to do. Reward performance-related criteria. Don't treat everyone the same. I have a degree, he has a degree, he gets the same. Nah, doesn't work like that. That's a recipe for bloody disaster. Well, Messi's got 2 feet. How come he gets paid 6 times the rest of the others? Right? Sadio Mane has got 2 feet and 2 arms. Yeah. You want an organization to move ahead. Have something for them to aspire to. But reward performance-related activities. And you're going to look somebody in the eye and simply says, you will not let me go. I will add value. So, opening, hit them hard, guys. That's your opening punch. Because as the lecturers will say, they will read your introduction. They will read that. And then you move on to the mundane parts now. So, Tushi, let me see the other part. You start now with your education. Last first. All right, the last, by the way, we will send you a copy of this CV if you let us have your contact details. Okay, so are you sent? Yes, yeah, we'll send you a copy. This CV has been vetted by an employment agent, and it says that Castile, I think, and it says it's an ideal format. Okay, of course you will change the words at the end of the day. Last first, okay? What you are doing last, in other words, degree, if you're writing a CV now, BSc, Banking, Economics and Law, BSc, Accounting and Finance, or Law and Finance, or whatever it is, will complete in whatever. So last first, okay? Master's course is not yet finished, you put that on it. Whatever you're doing last, include that first, okay? And then, of course, you come down to your SC and your HSC. This one sometimes makes me laugh as well. A person may have a PhD, and then they're asking you, what did you get on your HSC? Eh? I mean, are you having a laugh now? Are you born stupid, or are you actually attending a class called stupidity? Well, why? I might as well PhD and you're taking him back to 40 years ago when he done his HSC. I mean, people can be very obtuse, eh? I'm trying to change them. It's very difficult, but you know what? Me, I'm a maverick. I'm not branded. That's what maverick means. Maverick means I don't belong to anybody. I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. When I came here 3 years ago, I was a little bit more careful in what I say. Now I'm not bothered. I tell you what you need to hear as opposed to what you want to hear. You want to forge ahead? It's a beautiful country, lovely people. You hold yourself out as an international center of substance, well then embrace the culture, what happens elsewhere as well. Change. or die. Alright? So, I'm not going to go down that nonsense. You're going to ask him HSC grades, please. Maybe at your level they will say, let me check the HSC grades. But you know, as a higher you get up, I don't even, if somebody asked me for my HSC and SC certificates, I don't know where the hell they are. I haven't no clue. I have no clue. This is the idiosyncrasies you have. Many years ago I went to the BOI when I used to come here on holiday, and I said to them, I want to live in Mauritius. And they said to me, you need to fill in a form. And you need to put $1 million with the accountant general. I said, okay, fine, give me the form. I started filling. I met a man called Mr. Abadi many years ago. This was about 16, 17 years ago. I came to the part where it says birth certificate. I said, oh shit, I haven't got one. He says, how come you haven't got one? I don't know where it is. I know I'm born, I'm here. I'm not a jam. I'm not a ghost. I'm not a jam, I'm here. He says, no. I said, mate, I was born in Guyana. I can't get a birth certificate from London. I've not been home for 30 odd years. How do you get one? He said, well, you'll have to go there, wouldn't you? And it's the attitude that he has that sort of puts me off. I said, why do you need a birth certificate? He gets a bit, asked why now. He realizes now that he's going to be in a little bit of a trouble. Because the way I'm cross-examining him now. Is it because it's on the form? That he's just ticking a box? It's idiosyncratic. In a sense, it's a behavior for which there is no reason. He says, we need to know who your father is. I said, my father died in 1987, sir. I am investing the money, not my father. He says, I'm sorry, you need to go and get, you need to go there. I said, by the way, you know where Guyana is? He says, no. I said, good. I said, I'll come back in an hour and I'll bring you a birth certificate. He said, but you said you never had one. I said, I know. But I'll go print you one. What color do you want it? Green, pink, blue, yellow. He said, that'll be a forgery. I said, come on now, don't be stupid. How can it be a forgery? I know when I'm born. You have my passport there. I know who is my father and my mother and when they are born. Why are you telling me a forgery? You have the evidence to corroborate what I'm saying. He starts getting a bit scared now. He picked on the wrong man now. I says, what happened if I were born in Nepal? Nepal has the Hindu calendar, guys. You know what year it is now in Nepal? 2076. 2076 it is in Nepal. So imagine I produce a certificate to him which says I was born in 2034. You are not born yet. I said, well, who am I then? Yes, I'm a ghost. Yes, I'm a chap. You see how stupid this thing is at the end of the day? Which jackass put that down and still retains that in the year 2021? Birth certificate. Madness. This is no critical thinking at the end of the day. I have a current situation existing right now. They've renewed my contract, but my passport happens to be in Durham, in the UK. And so they renewed the passport, everything. Not the passport, but they want to see the original passport at the BOI. I said, I can't give it to you now. Where it is, it's in London. You'll come back in a month or two. But we can't renew the. I said, why? Oh, it says here we need the original passport. Well, who are they? EDB I used to work with. Do you not know me? I was here since 2016. Yes, it's me, no? Yeah. You have a copy of my passport, don't you? Yeah. I have a copy of it. Yeah. Why do you want to see the original passport again for? Is it not me? You've been paying me. I'm a rich buffoon at the end of the day. People are extremely obtuse at the end of it. Ask Tushki. They still haven't given it. Where is the risk? I used to work with you. Have I changed? Is it not right? You have a copy of the passport when you saw the original. I have a copy, it's the same thing. What's your problem? No, we need to see the original. You don't want to see people like that. You will change it, all right? I'm absolutely certain. When these old farts are dead, And Steve Jobs is good. Steve Jobs is right. Death is a great thing. It cleans out the old and brings in the new. You will change. I hope you don't bloody well go and do the same thing. Yeah. You change it. Alright? And the bosses are getting younger as well now. And yes, they're having people like me do lectures on leading millennials. And the mistake they make when they talk about leading millennials is they let the millennials listen to you and say, no, you need to listen to me. They don't lead themselves. Okay? So, get all those bits in there. You are just 3 years away from your HSC, so remember your HSC grades and that sort of stuff. Other than that, forget it. If you have professional qualifications, which is something I strongly... how are we doing for time? What time is it? How many? 12:36. 48? 1-3. I should have been finished by now. Oh, Lord. I can talk to England, guys. I can talk from now till next week Thursday. So, are you telling me it's gone 12:30? Okay, sorry about that. Professional qualifications, you're doing ACC, you're doing CIMA, you're doing ICSA, Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators, put it down as well. People like professional qualifications as well. It's about problem solving. Alright? Can I just quickly tell you something as well? Mauritians are brilliant when it comes to your opening statements. Go back very quickly with that. Brilliant at maths. Very, very good when it comes to maths. Because everything in maths is about solving problems. 2 plus 2 equals what? 2 squared take away 2 squared equals what? Life is like that. Life is like maths. It's about solving problems, but the variables are different. So even though you don't have a maths degree, if you have a good grade, tell people, I'm intrigued by mathematics, by maths, because I understand this is the formula to life. Life is about solving problems. Only the variables are different. Okay? Go down again. I mean, wind this up as quick as I can. What time have I got to finish? Soon. I should be finished. Good. You give me 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. What have we got? The experience now. Well, once again, last first. Okay? In other words, where you are currently working or where you have worked last, put that first. And then go down. Alright? Go down again, Christian. Can I just add a few things that you might want to add to these things? Right? If you're in the student union, Veer, Suleiman, where you have been elected, it shows that you have an extent of charismatic authority. Charismatic authority is the belief in what someone stands for. And thus you have voted for that person. Their leadership qualities. Leadership is influence. Get that in. Somebody that is charitable with your NGOs, with wherever. You've done any charitable works, please get that across. Alright? You know, add that down. People that are care, Mauritians are great when it comes to looking after our planet. So if you're concerned sustainability, you clean up Lepus or whatever other mountains, get involved in it. Okay? Get those things across. These things strike a chord where you're able to demonstrate that you're not just insular. It's me, me, me. And that if you were made of chocolate, you'd eat yourself. No, it's about others as well. Okay? And you are great at that. If somebody were to ask me what's quintessential about Mauritians, it's your hospitality and your kindness. Seriously. I've gone and sat on beaches, I don't know people, and within 5 minutes later they're giving me their biryani. In England, I can sit next to them for the next 20 years and they're going to give me nothing. Alright? Highlight that. Okay? NGOs, charitable works, whatever you've done. To demonstrate that there is something else to you, some other value now. It's not just academia. Alright? I can add value. I can build relations. You build relations by being interested rather than interesting. Maybe you listen well. Conscious listening. Add those things, please. Okay? They demonstrate leadership qualities. And the main purpose of leaders is to grow new leaders. Anything else, Richard? That's your special interests and your hobbies. Now you can lie from time to time. Bankers like people that play chess. But if you can't play chess and you put chess, then go and research what it is. Because somebody will say, what is a pawn? Right? Pawn? That's a crevet. Don't do things like that. Check it out. I once had an interview and I said I like classical music. And this old man, I used to be your age at that time, he says, you like classical? Yes, I like classical music. And he says, what's Beethoven's 10th symphony like? I says, I might look like cabbage, but I'm not green. Beethoven only wrote 9. You see, he was trying to pull my leg. There is no 10th symphony. There's only 9. He immediately employed me. Well, no, he told me, he gave me a scholarship. I applied for a scholarship to go and do a doctor of veterinary medicine. I was going to be a doctor of animals. Thankfully, I didn't take that scholarship. But instantly I got it, because he was shocked. Because I'd done my research before, you see. I mean, who in their right mind want to listen to classical music? The only thing is, I'd be crazy, but at least I'd researched it. So if you say things like chess, because it shows that you're a deep thinker, methodical. Don't every single thing, think about it. And like I said, you're not a specialist at anything. Go and research it and learn it in one day. Chess, photography, whatever it is, what, gardening? Gardening. I like growing cannabis sativa. Fantastic. And then comes this bit now to what's the other one that comes after that? Yes, references. Once again, I don't know why an institution would ask somebody to provide a reference. I haven't got a clue. You think I will provide a referee that will say something bad about me? You think I would? Have I got fool written on my head? Will I provide the name of a referee that will say something bad? No. So I sometimes think that you should force the individual to give you or provide you the name of your last lecturer, year 3, for example. I want to hear from one of your lecturers here. And the last employer. But not many of your employers think like me. And so provide the names of reference. 1, workplace, or where you have served during an internship or a placement, and 1, academia. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I have exceeded my welcome at the end of the day. I am really sorry I have kept you in here in the lunch hour. Have you got any questions for me? We do a lot of courses at the Financial Services Institute on employability, leadership, team building, etc. It's entirely free. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why a number of you were probably encouraged to come here. Over 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, we hone your skills, we send your CVs out, you get jobs. So look out for the space. If you like what you heard, then there's a lot more. I thank you profoundly for your attention and listening to me, and I thank Malini and I thank everybody for the privilege of being here to share some knowledge. Merci beaucoup.